Stay frosty and head over to EasyMut.com for the cheapest MUT coins on the market. And when I say cheapest, I mean it. We're talking 1 million coins for around 40 bucks. Use code DIRECTOR for 5% off. Kia ora, brothers. What's up? It's the Director. Chargers fans, we got some brand new faces popping in and out of LA for the Chargers coaching staff. And there's some names on here that gets me really excited, and some names on here that are getting me thinking, like, how are they going to operate with the Chargers? How are they going to elevate their respective areas of the team? And honestly, if I'm going to be a spoiler alert kind of guy here for just a second, I think that the needle's moving in the right direction for the Bolts. And I kind of want to introduce you guys to these brand new coaches, what their track records kind of look like, and what they could bring to the Chargers in helping us make a playoff run as soon as 2021. So it should be a good time, guys. Before we do get started, as a reminder, I'm giving away a jersey, guys. The Air Coryell jersey signed by 3 of the greatest Chargers of all time in Wes Chandler, Charlie Joyner, and Kellen Winslow. All you gotta do to be entered to win this jersey is be a member of my crew. This is more of a thank you to you guys who have joined my crew. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in that way. We're gonna be pulling a winner for this on January 29th, so it's coming up on like a week now. Good luck to everybody in that category. If you're not a member of my crew and you would like to be, hit up the join button on the bottom of this video or in the top right hand side of my channel. There's also a link in the description for those of you who can't find those. It's a great way to support me, support the channel, and get things like custom emotes, members only chat, and getting your name in the end credits of my videos. And again, for those of you guys who do like giveaways but are not a member of my crew, don't worry, we're gonna get you guys taken care of. Soon as that Air Coryell jersey is finished, we're gonna start the giveaway process for this signed Keenan Allen jersey. Again, as a thank you for everybody who supports my channel, even with just a like and sub. It does go a long way. Speaking of like and sub, hit up the like and sub button if you do enjoy this channel. The small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this video. Lights, camera, action. Getting to know the Chargers' brand new coaching staff, or more specifically, we're going to be grading the hirings of the Chargers with these specific coaches in their respective positions, and kind of giving you guys an idea of who these guys are, where they came from, what their track record looks like, and my opinion, my thoughts on how they can elevate the Chargers going forward. So let's jump right into it with this man right here, Darius Swinton. Now, Darius Swinton is going to be our special teams coach going forward. Honestly, guys, this is an area that the Chargers have been pretty bad on for quite a long time. It's been a while since I can go back and be like, yo, the Chargers special teams unit's pretty fire. And Darius Swinton is definitely a move in the right direction for the Bolts when it comes to getting somebody in there that's maybe a little bit younger, has got a different perspective. Because you got to remember, our last guy, George Stewart, he was like 100. No, he was like 60 something. Okay, that made him one of the older special team coaches in the league. Darius Swinton, I think he's somewhere around 35 years old. Let's take a look at what he brings to the table as far as experience. Matter of fact, let's make that a little bigger for you guys right there as well. Now, what I love about his resume that I see right off the bat is that he's really been the guy when it comes to special teams coordinator, special teams coach, all things special teams. He's been in there for like a decade. So now coming into 2020, he really started in special teams back in like 2009. So yeah, he's been in this area for a long time, and you'll notice a trend right away when it comes to these names, these coaches. A lot of them are connected to Brandon Staley, our new head coach, in some way. In the instance of Darius Swinton, it would be right here in 2017 with the Chicago Bears. He's an assistant special teams coach back then. Honestly, the 2017 Bears, a special defense. This defense was crazy, and obviously our new coach is Brandon Staley, and now Darius Swinton had something to do with that. So I like it, man. They've got some chemistry, they've got some rhythm, and I do feel like when you're bringing in new coaches and you're bringing in, like, let's say a crew, right? Like in my area of expertise in film, you bring in a lot of people that you've worked with before to kind of make the communication process easier. Of course, you want to bring people in that have got, you know, a good resume under their belt. They specialize in things that you need when it comes to, let's say, in a movie like your production. But what's almost more important to me in some cases when I was doing commercials commercial and film, was working with people that I communicate well with, because I feel like as a director, I'm kind of the quality control guy over the whole project, right? And I need my vision to come out of my head and onto paper or onto the screen to get my direction clearly communicated to the whole crew. So that's kind of the way I'm feeling with Brandon Staley right now. He's getting people that he has chemistry with, that he can communicate with very easily. And honestly, Swinton is a defensive minded guy, or a special teams minded guy. He's got a pretty good track record. He came from the Cardinals this last season in 2020. The Cardinals ranked number 18 in special teams last year, which was pretty good. But you got to remember, a lot of teams dealing with a lot of weird stuff this year, the pandemic year, and on top of that, a lot of injuries. So I think that's definitely a step in the right direction for the Chargers. I like the young-minded coach. Of course, the Chargers ranked in the bottom 3 last season, so being anywhere close to the middle of the pack as far as someone who's performed in the past is a very good sign. And then again, with the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions and stuff like that, he's been pretty good. And I would say definitely the thing that I like most is the young-minded, aggressive coaches coming in here. It really does bring a fresh perspective to the Chargers as a whole. So I'm going to give a letter grade to every single one of these guys. In the case of Darius Swinton, what did I put down here for him? Darius Swinton, I graded as a hire of a B+. I think it was a pretty good hire. I think, again, he's got chemistry with him. He had a pretty decent special teams last year. And again, he wasn't the special teams coordinator last year. He's a special teams assistant special teams coach. So now he's going to have full control over it. And hopefully that does bring the Chargers moving in the right direction as far as their special teams, which was very, very bad last year. Next up, we're going to talk about this man right here, Jay Rodgers. Now, this one, guys, it's hard not to smile when I see this beautiful mug up on the screen, because holy cow, this was almost a criminal poaching by the Chargers when it comes to bringing one of the best defensive line coaches in the league, or he's going to be he's going to be defensive line coach for the Chargers as well. And this man, dude, has brought a lot of good times to the Bears organization. The defensive line of the Bears has been very good for a long time because of Jay Rodgers. Let's take a look at some of his background here, some of his days way back in the day, LSU, Dodge City. Then you get into the NFL here with the Denver Broncos. He was there for a little while as a coach's assistant, defensive quality control coach, and then here with the Chicago Bears, where he ultimately landed for a long time in this particular position, even with the Denver Broncos back in 2012 to 2014, was defensive line coach. Between 2012 and 2020, this man has been a defensive line expert. You kind of see the trend here, between him and Darius Swinton as well. Like, these guys have been in this area of expertise for a long time. And more in particular, Chicago Bears 2015 to 2020, that defensive line, that defensive unit as a whole has been spectacular. And again, if you look at this period between 2015 and 2020, our head coach, Brandon Staley, in 2017, has a connection to him at that point as well. And honestly, guys, this was a great hire. When I look online at Bears fans and fans of, Jay Rodgers himself, they're like, man, did the Bears lose a good one. Like, it's bad news Bears, that Jay Rodgers is out of town. And it's because he's such a quality coach. He's been there for such a long time doing, very, very great things with that defensive line. This, to me, guys, is crazy. I also had a note right here that in 2018, Rodgers was awarded the honor of the NFL's Defensive Line Coach of the Year. In 2018, a couple years ago, this man won Defensive Line Coach of the Year. We got a good one. Now he's going to have the talents of Joey Bosa. He's going to maybe help Jerry Tillery in his development, which would really be a huge plus for the Chargers. He's also going to have guys like Linval Joseph, whoever we bring in free agency, in the offseason, whatever. It's just going to add to this already. I think the Chargers defensive line has a lot of potential. They need a lot of help in stopping the run, but I think when it comes to pass rushing, just having Joey Bosa there in combination with Jay Rodgers is enough to get one excited. So I'm going to give this hiring of Jay Rodgers a solid A+, man. Like, this was one of the best that you could get in the league, and now he's with the Bolts. He's got connections to Brandon Staley. I like the guy, man. He's definitely done wonders with his unit over the past few years. Next up, let's get into one of the big dogs, man. A lot of Chargers fans wondering what to make of our defensive coordinator hire in Rolando Hill, former defensive back for the Broncos. He's actually pretty young himself as well. How old is this guy? 42 years old. So, I mean, not too young, but on the younger side. And he's definitely one of those guys, again, connected with Brandon Staley. Take a look here, the Denver Broncos 2019 to present, he had something to do with Brandon Staley and the Vic Fangio Broncos unit there. I think he was a player actually in the time that he was there with the Broncos. But you guys let me know in the comments section below. Some of the things now, defensive coordinator. This is going to be a different sort of circumstance for Rolando Hill than most other coordinators in the league when it comes to defensive play calling. You guys got to remember that Brandon Staley, we did a live stream with his first press conference a couple of days ago, and in that press conference, he was talking about how he would be taking on responsibilities of play calling on the defensive side, which honestly is really great news for the Chargers. The Los Angeles Rams, his former team, was the #1 defense in the league last year, and now using that, repertoire coming into the season with the Chargers, he should lead a very aggressive defense as far as play calling. Now, Rolando Hill, what his role with this team is likely going to be is like similar to what I was saying at the top of the show, development and communication, chemistry, that sort of stuff. Very, very important when relaying instructions and play call and direction. All that kind of stuff really comes into play as a defensive coordinator. And I do feel like he's going to have a lot to add. He's got, again, a younger perspective. He's definitely got a lot of experience playing defensive back, so he sees the position from a different perspective, and I like it, man. I really do. I think, again, the chemistry that he has with Brandon Staley is going to come into favor here. He coached with Staley and Fangio in Denver is what I have put down here. And again, I don't know. I like having the right people around Staley because ultimately Staley is the mastermind of this operation, is he not? And Rolando Hill is going to be great for developing these young defensive backs. I'm hoping that we bring in a couple new defensive backs this season, maybe help resurge the careers of Chris Harris Jr. and Casey Hayward. But ultimately, again, this guy's going to do his job as far as keeping these guys in line, keeping these guys in check, and ultimately helping steer Brandon Staley in the right direction too. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of moments where he's like, what do you think, in this situation, 3rd and 5, or, 4th and short, what do you think they're going to do? I think just the ability to bounce back and forth between a guy that you've worked with that's got the same kind of perspective as you on defense makes me very excited. So I'm going to give this grade, a hiring of this guy, a grade of a B. I think it's pretty good. I mean, it could have been better, but again, I wasn't as worried about the defensive coordinator position because of obviously Brandon Staley calling the shots on defense anyway. Now, the biggest one that was just confirmed this morning was our offensive coordinator. This man right here, he comes from royalty in the NFL, Joe Lombardi. Now, of course, again, I say royalty because he is the grandson of the great Vince Lombardi, the man who has shaped this league into what it is today. The grand prize is everybody reaching for his name. Now, as far as Joe Lombardi, the coach, this man has had a pretty impressive career when it comes to quarterbacks coach. He did have a stint as offensive coordinator in the past. We will get into that right now. And I think this is a pretty good move. This is the one I'm a little bit like, at first when I looked at it, I was like, I don't know, man. The name Lombardi, I mean, obviously gets me excited just off the rip. But when you take a look into his career, the one season that he had as offensive coordinator was back in 2014 with the Detroit Lions. Now, I took a closer look at this. When he was with the Lions, obviously that team wasn't great to begin with. I think the first year he was with them, they ended up going like 11 wins on the season, which was pretty good. And then the next season he got fired after like a 1-7 start. But when you take a look at his offense as a whole, I think he had like his first season 11th best passing offense, and then the following season the 9th best passing offense. So regardless of the reasons that he got fired or whatever, I think what Chargers fans need to do is look past that, because again, for the first thing I'm going to notice here with the Detroit Lions stint, it's been so long and the NFL has evolved so much since then that I'm not too worried about any of the things that he might have done wrong in that period. The things that he did right gets me very excited. Of course, he wasn't great in the run game, but he was pretty good in the pass game. Let me see. I actually had written down his scheme back then. Let me take a look here. Lombardi's scheme revolved around a power running game and short, quick passes. And again, this is something that I guess he could definitely utilize a little bit with the Chargers, but I don't think this will be the case because, again, it's been 7 years. The league has evolved, and he's got kind of a different unit to operate with in Los Angeles. Those short passes are really good, especially for a fresh new quarterback, but you also want to use all of the abilities under his belt as far as, huge throw power and being able to move out of the pocket. So maybe he does implement more of like a spread offense, Air Coryell sort of style, just because of the ability and the abilities of the players on the specific team that he's going to be operating with. All I really do notice as far as recent experience from Joe Lombardi is his several years as a quarterbacks coach with the New Orleans Saints. Now, he had this stint right here at the Detroit Lions, but even before that, he was with the New Orleans Saints, we can say between 2017 and now 2020, with like a 2-year break with the Detroit Lions. So he's been there for a long time. And of course, mainly as a quarterbacks coach, we all know the quarterback, ex-San Diego Charger Drew Brees, went on to have insane success with the Saints. And again, we have to give Joe Lombardi some credit to that, man. You guys remember, Chargers fans, I mean, I wasn't really a fan back then, but I've done a lot of research on this. Why did the Chargers let go of Drew Brees and stuff like that? And it's because there were some concerns, especially with his health, but there were concerns outside of that. And any concerns I feel were there previous to him coming to the New Orleans Saints were wiped away, maybe due to a little bit to the fact and help of Joe Lombardi. And he's really helped a lot of quarterbacks on the way since then. Of course, exclusively, mainly their starter, Drew Brees. But you got to take a look at some of the success that we've seen with Taysom Hill lately. The Chargers kind of do have this thing in Easton Stick that reminds me of Taysom Hill a little bit. Maybe there's a chance that Easton Stick gets more involved in those creative plays, something I know Chargers fans have kind of been asking for a lot lately. But I don't know, man. Bottom line is Lombardi helped Drew Brees eclipse like 5,000 yard passing seasons and over 330 passing touchdowns in his time. That's crazy. And also you got to credit a little bit of his development with Taysom Hill, which is also crazy. I see a lot of success in that. But I feel like this is one of the more of those wait and see moments. Like, we got to see what his plan is. How is he going to utilize Justin Herbert? And this is one thing, again, that Brandon Staley talked about in his presser. Like what's the plan going for? Why did I get hired? Well, it's because I had a great plan for Justin Herbert, and bringing in Joe Lombardi, I think, is part of that plan. I think Joe Lombardi understands the position of quarterback better than maybe almost any offensive coordinator in the league. What he did with Drew Brees was incredible, and I think that Joe Lombardi is an important piece to that puzzle in forming an offense that revolves mainly around the quarterback. Does that make sense? So that gets me excited. Again, the power run game, short, quick passes, we could see a little bit of that with the Chargers, but I do expect more of a spread offense with the Bolts when it comes to a guy like Justin Herbert and utilizing his talent. Air Coryell, baby. We want to bring it back. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments section. This is more of like a get to know you. The last grade I'm going to give when it comes to Lombardi himself, too, I'm going to give this one a B+, just because, again, I want to revolve this offense around the quarterback, and this is one of the best quarterback coaches we've seen in the league in a long time, and that gets me very optimistic. But again, he's more of a wait and see sort of prospect right now. I want to see what his plan is. I want to see how he's going to utilize Justin Herbert more specifically. So when I take a step back and take a look at this coaching hires as a whole, it kind of feels like the Avengers, right, of the Vic Fangio blueprint. And a lot of these guys, of course, having ties to Vic Fangio and Brandon Staley. I think the only one that doesn't have a tie to Vic Fangio is Lombardi. But he does have ties to Brandon Staley. I think he was coaching while Staley played quarterback in college. I have to look that up, but I'm pretty sure that was the case. That's how they know each other. And it kind of feels like we got the band back together, does it not? It kind of feels like Avengers assemble. Because when you take a look at the contrast between the Chargers coaches in the last 10 years or so versus right now, this might be one of the better coaching staffs that I've seen in my time as a fan. And it's hard not to get super excited about that. But all in all, I think a lot of my check boxes are being checked right now. I think the most exciting hire to me was Rodgers on the defensive line. We still have more work to do. There's other coaches. Is Pep Hamilton going to stay? What about defensive backs coach, linebacker? There's a whole bunch of other positions that still need to be filled. But I think the top three, the big three that we were looking for were special teams, offense, and defense. I decided to throw Rodgers in there as well because he was just such a great hire. But on top of that, the top three guys, the core leaders of this team have been hired. And honestly, I feel pretty good about it. As a whole, I'm going to grade this unit an A-. I really do like the hires. I think the communication is going to be very well. I like the role that I think each one of these coaches are going to play with the team. I'm very optimistic, but again, this grade's going to change as I understand more and more of the plan behind all of these guys' execution. How they're going to execute their visions, how they're going to execute the vision of Brandon Staley is what's most important right now. And so far, it seems like we're in a good position to do that, but I need to hear more about it as we go into the offseason. What I'm more interested in right now is what you guys think. What do you guys think about the hirings of the new coaches for the Chargers? Again, I'm feeling very optimistic. I'm feeling very excited. The Brandon Staley Chargers are about to be unleashed, and we're going to find out more and more about what the plan is going forward very, very soon. Post Super Bowl, the free agents that we see come in, the players that we see drafted, all are going to be very telling to what they want to do in the future. Protect Justin Herbert, get aggressive with the pass rush, get aggressive with the run defense, get aggressive with the defensive backs. There's a lot of things that this team could do, a lot of areas that they could pursue. And this core team of coaches right now, I feel like they're up to the challenge, and I feel like the Chargers, as of today, have a better shot at making the playoffs than they did this last 2 or 3 years, which to me, again, very excited. Under Justin Herbert, Brandon Staley, anything could happen. So the comment section below, again, let me know what you guys think of these coaches' hirings. I like it a lot, but again, there's more research to do. This is just kind of an on the surface, get to know your guys, and I think there's more to look into as time goes on. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit us up with a like and sub on your way out. Thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. We'll see you next time, and as always, bolt up and stay frosty.